everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, Dan, last week we talked about the fact that Mormon General Conference was coming up.
There were predictions. There were predictions. This week, we're going to talk about which ones of those predictions came true. And there's actually a development that we didn't see coming that was horrible. Yes,
and that's where we're going to spend most of our time.
We're gonna track the progress,
right or wrong,
of Mormonism.
Yeah,
Progress is the wrong word.
Yeah, the
the regress,
the plodding forth,
the regression of Mormonism,
the great trudge
backwards, the great standing in place and marching that is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah, and I guess in line with that, I'm going to get so we're going to be talking about all of that at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I have one sort of general conference story that we're going to do in the first half of the show.
Oh, sure.
Let me just get that out of the way.
Sure.
So a while back, you'll all recall that we talked about how the Mormon Church is trying to get away from being called the Mormon Church.
Right.
And that they want to be called by their official God-given name, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Nothing awkward or uncomfortable or stupid about that.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's a long name. And they've had great success just going by the nickname.
Well,
Mormon.
Not just great
Mormons.
success. They have invested countless millions of dollars to make Mormon stick and have positive associations in the world.
Yeah. It was and seriously, who knows how much money they spent on it?
And
like, you've seen the billboards in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
Times Square.
They did international ad buys on TVs all over the world.
Yeah. I'm a Mormon.
And I'm a Mormon.
Yeah.
I'm a good person, and I'm a Mormon.
I am a police officer, and I'm a Mormon.
Right. I do good things in the world. I'm a Mormon.
Yeah.
And then they just decided to ass rape themselves.
Well, Rusty Nelson got control.
Yeah.
His I wish we should call him Krusty Nelson, actually, because he is, you know, that guy on the block, the old man who yells at the kids to stay off the lawn.
Oh my gosh, he always looks mad, even when he's smiling.
That's who this guy is.
He's Emperor Palpatine. You must not call us Mormons.
Anyway, so he got up at General Conference, and he didn't try to soften the message. He didn't do anything of the sort. He, to use the parlance, he doubled down.
Oh yeah, it was a weekend of Dublin.
Yeah. So this is what he has to say. He said that the church's name is, quote, not negotiable. And that anytime people use the nickname Mormon, it's a, quote, major victory for Satan. Which has been what all the headlines have been saying.
Let me tell you guys something. When we were growing up Mormon, I remember, who was it that sang the song, I am a Mormon boy, to all of the kids, to like the priesthood? I think it was Spencer Kimball, or maybe it was somebody. Anyway, like, we have been calling ourselves Mormon for
as long as
half a century or more? A century?
Well, the world called us Mormons.
Right. It used to be, it was a derogatory term in the 1800s when Russell M. Nelson was a young man.
So unfortunately, he remembers.
So he remembers
being called a Mormon.
Right.
It triggers him in the same way that being called a faggot would trigger me.
Right. Exactly. But fast forwarding 150 years into the future, when faggot is no longer a negative term, it's now a joyful positive term.
Well, yeah, you know, we gays got together and we spent millions.
Right.
And I'm a police officer, I'm a father, and I'm a faggot.
Right. And everybody's like, everybody loves the term now. It's all positive.
Oh, look, it's a faggot bar.
And then the president of faggotry decides to get up and say, we're not using it anymore. Grumpy Frank decides in 150 years, I hate that term now.
We're men who have sex with other men. That's what we are.
We are officially.
What's the most awkward thing we could call ourselves?
The men who have sex exclusively with other men,
and who also shack up with them,
and sometimes marry.
Yeah. Every once in a while we marry,
and that's the official term. Nobody can say anything else without offending God.
God is offended. Anyway, So, and that's exactly what he said. He said, and if we allow nicknames to be used and adopt or even sponsor those nicknames ourselves, Jesus, is offended. This is what he said.
Yeah.
After his predecessor as president of the church spent gobs of money.
Yeah.
Right?
Predecessors. Like going back several iterations.
Thomas Monson was the one who went hard on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super fucking hard.
It's so funny.
Let's just own it. Let's just... And there were talks in General Conference. Gordon B. Hinckley, when he was prophet of the church, I watched this clip of General Conference. He got up and said something along the lines of, the Lord has given us a name. It's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But there's nothing wrong with us also having a nickname.
Yeah.
Right? We're Mormons.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's just let it mean more good.
Yeah.
We're just more good. He was always Mr. Positivity and just, why, try to swim upstream with this
every
kind of
time
stuff,
anyone said any of those things, Russell Nelson was sitting in the background fuming.
Yeah, he's like, they don't understand.
They don't get it. They grumble. So
then
then the Lord, as soon as he became prophet, the Lord said to him,
and so you're offending the Lord every time you say Mormon instead of calling it the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
And what's amazing,
hi, it's my friend, Jim.
And he's a Mormon.
And he's a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Right.
The restored gospel,
The restored gospel. Yeah, all the other Christians are happily going to call them the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. Sure.
I know.
They're going to be glad to do that.
But here's the headline that ran with an AP story this morning.
Okay.
Says, President of the Mormon Church, nicknames for faith are victory for Satan. And in the first paragraph, they call it the Mormon Church again.
Oh, my God.
They wait until the second paragraph to officially say the Church of Jesus Christ.
That's amazing. What a fuck
and
you.
Most every outlet has done the exact same thing. The Tribune.
The Salt Lake Tribune. Which happens to be the newspaper not owned by the Mormon Church, because the only other competing newspaper in the state that has anywhere near the same scope is owned by the Mormon Church.
Exactly. Their headline is, Nicknames offend Jesus, Nelson warns. Just nicknames. All nicknames.
All nicknames.
How dare you call me...
My name is now Daniel Beecher. You can't call me Dan anymore. Mormons can't call me Dan.
Right.
It'll offend their God.
Because they don't believe in nicknames anymore.
Oh my
offends
God.
Jesus.
It's so funny because I don't know. The reason that he's doubling down now is because when he made the initial play, a whole bunch of Mormons were like, we're not going to do that.
Right. And so now he's making it prophetic decree.
Yeah.
And he is making such a hard statement on it that the next guy's going to have a hard time walking it back.
Yeah. This is the equivalent, the Mormon equivalent of a papal bull, of a papal paper saying that this is doctrine. This is as close as it comes.
It is over the pulpit to General Conference.
The Lord's own mouth saying it.
Yeah. And he's so willing to be that mouth.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more later.
I'm
going to take us out of Mormonism and into Baptistism. That's the other thing. I had a friend on Facebook who's a Mormon, who's a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who said, what's the equivalent now, the official equivalent to Mormonism?
Yeah.
Because that was a really easy word.
Yeah.
You can't say
Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints-ism.
right. You can't say that. They can't even say Latter-day Saints anymore. What the fuck do they say? Like, what's the nickname for the theology? Oh yeah, no nicknames.
They hate nicknames. This is the theology of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yep.
Not the Mormons. Formerly the Mormons.
The artists formerly known as Mormonism. Do you remember the name Paige Patterson? We talked about him a little bit. He was the president of the Southern Baptist Seminary, or a Southern Baptist Seminary. He was also like, he was just a big name. He was the top elected official at one point of the Southern Baptist Convention, but was removed, if you'll recall, because of fairly recently, just back in like May, for mishandling sexual assault allegations.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah,
rape allegations specifically of students. So he's sort of resigned in or was removed in disgrace. Well, guess what? He's got a new gig.
Oh,
thank God he found something to do.
Okay,
he will be teaching an ethics course.
No.
Yep. He's going to be doing ethics and morals. The name of his week-long class is officially Christian Ethics, the Bible and Moral Issues.
Oh,
and
God.
better?
What a mess.
Who better to teach that than...
Who else to teach it?
To teach a
book that does a very shitty job of teaching ethics.
Right.
Might as well just be taught by somebody who doesn't understand ethics.
Who very clearly has a sketchy at best ethics.
Because you're not going to find somebody who actually understands ethics to teach that class.
Well, yeah, I mean,
how do you fish out that stuff out of the?
You can tease it out of there. You have to ignore 98% of the book.
Sure.
You go to the Jesus stuff. You go to the red letter stuff. You ignore the Old Testament completely.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just love that this soon after his leaving in disgrace of one of the top things. Yeah.
Where's the class being taught?
Up his butt. No,
that's so nice, Dan.
Southern Evangelical Seminary, which is a school that's not affiliated with the Southern Baptist Convention.
Yeah, okay. Well, at least there's that.
Yeah.
At least he's had to go outside of his...
And, of course, it's not it's not the Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, which he was removed from.
Aha, gotcha. All right.
So...
Well, just because he had some ethical violations doesn't mean he doesn't know a thing or two. He might know more about ethics now.
Man,
having had such a major violation, he's learned from his mistakes.
No, he's learned. He's going to teach all about how unethical it was that he was removed from his position. That's what he's going to be teaching. He's learned from their mistakes.
Oh, I wish that were true.
Yeah.
All right, Dan.
Yeah, what do you got?
Well, there's a case that was before the Tasmania's Supreme Court.
Tasmania. Okay. We're going down under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of Australia.
Yeah.
That down under.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
That's the one you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I don't know what else it could be, but... Anyway, they have just the Supreme Court ruled on a case that was before them that had to do with a bunch of anti-gay flyers and a question of religious freedom, right? Okay. Because apparently there was this guy going about. His name was or is James Durston, and he was accused of distributing anti-LGBT flyers in 2003.
Okay.
And the flyer began with the sentence, "It is warned that homosexuality should not be tolerated, and therefore this will benefit both the individual and society."
I love the phrase, "it is warned." Mm-hmm. No subject or object. Just sort of...
Just, it is...
Not... I am warning you,
Right.
or someone is warning someone else,
Right.
but the general it is warned.
Mm-hmm. It's very clear.
Yeah, absolutely. Great.
Does it need more explanation than that? No, clearly not, because
No.
it is true.
Yes.
Some other assertions in the flyer. He said that lesbians are 307 times more likely to die in accidents than other white women.
Oh my
It's very
God.
specific. 307
Wow.
times.
That is a great statistic.
Let's
That
see.
is amazing.
Gay men are 10 times more likely to die in accidents. I don't know why lesbians are so accident prone.
Why are you gay people so fucking accident prone?
Right, but
What
they're
is happening?
307 times more likely.
Just
And-
clumsy bitches. That's
I
all
guess
lesbians
so,
are. Just
you know.
fucking clumsy as
At least
shit.
what? We have a little bit of athleticism, according to the stereotype. Maybe.
You'd
I don't
think.
know.
You'd think the lesbians would be the ones avoiding the accidents.
Yeah, you would think, right?
With all of that softball under their belt, you'd think that they would be able to avoid.
No, that's what it is. It's softball accidents.
Oh my! Well, yeah,
Fast pitch softball, Dan. That's that shit.
It's
That's a
dangerous.
big object.
yeah, flying
And
at
they call
high
it a
speed,
soft ball.
but it's not.
It ain't that soft.
You take one of those high speed underhand pitches to the head, you're gonna be
You're
gonna be hurting.
down for the count.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway.
70% more likely.
It also said something about how only 8% of gay men live to old age,
oh wow!
compared to just a quarter of lesbians.
Only a
This is
quarter of
all-
lesbians
the
live
math
to old
is-
age.
The math is all screwy.
Well, what's amazing
Just
is that,
really
like,
screwy here.
I'm sure, I'm absolutely positive that this guy cites all of his sources.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And
Himself.
right, exactly.
It's just like, yeah, I thought this in the bathtub yesterday.
According to my brain,
No. It's just
it stands to reason, ipso facto,
footnote number 4 says, yeah, I thought of that when I was gardening.
it's just I bid for all of the footnotes. Footnote 1, me. Footnote 2, same.
Me.
Also me.
Anyway, so the court has said that his claim to religious freedom does not trump the hate speech laws
Right.
in Tasmania.
Right, okay.
So he's actually not able to say this and distribute it in Tasmania.
Outrageous.
Which
He
is
has facts and figures.
which is very interesting.
Yeah.
And they're seeking to do something that is hard to do in this country, which is finding a balance between religious freedom and freedom of speech.
Yeah. Well, every country in the world has to weigh that.
Right.
I mean,
We're just really crippled.
Nope. Saudi
this
doesn't have to do that. The ones that are pure theocracies don't have to worry about that at all.
Right.
But every country that has more than one religion officially has to sort of weigh those things out.
So here's a quote from a spokesperson from the Tasmanian Gay and Lesbian Rights Group by the name of Rodney Kroom.
Okay.
He says, Justice Brett has put forward a careful, rigorous, and unassailable argument that freedom of religion and freedom of speech are not unfettered rights.
Right.
And that the Tasmanian Anti-Discrimination Act strikes the right balance between these rights and the right of citizens to live free from hate and vilification.
Yeah. That's nice.
That's nice. It's really an important thing to be able to say that, you know, somebody being able just to live in peace trumps your desire to say awful, horrible things to them.
Vilify them, yeah.
Yeah. I think
Although, I think the real takeaway here is how fucking accident prone the gay people are. Accidents. This is what I'm delighting in, is the fact that he didn't go for, like, gay men are gonna die of AIDS or whatever. Like, the old
trip and falls.
the old tropes are gone.
Yeah.
It's
Fell off a ladder.
it's the breaking of the hips.
Yeah.
It is.
Terrible drivers. Terrible drivers, Dan. Just the worst.
Accidents.
Veering into things.
Why would it occur to someone to talk about accidents?
Stepping out in front of traffic.
Oh my God, it's amazing. And why are the lesbians so accident prone?
Well, all the things I just described. They're terrible drivers.
Well, I mean, I'm just imagining, like, if I hate gay people a lot, and I want to describe them as bad, as accident prone, I would go after the gay men as the accident prone ones.
Yeah.
All that swishing and walking around or whatever, like, the gay ladies, they feel like they're they're solid. You know what I mean?
Low center of gravity. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying they're like, if I'm a gay hating person, I'm picking my stereotypes.
Right.
The stereotype that I'm looking at for accident proneness is the man. I don't know. I would love to talk to that guy.
Well, yeah, I bet you could call him up.
Oh my God, that guy. Yeah. Talk to me about where you came up with this. All right. I'm taking us to India now, where I suddenly feel like our country has a new kinship with India.
Oh,
This
is not going to be good.
No, in the worst way we can imagine, which is, you'll recall that just last year,
Yeah.
Myanmar launched an ethnic cleanse.
Who's Mar?
Stop it. Of their Rohingya Muslim population. They started slaughtering them.
Right.
And so obviously the ones who were hearing about this and weren't yet slaughtered were fleeing the country. Which they did in mass numbers. By the tens or hundreds of thousands. 700,000 approximately by best estimate have left Myanmar. So that's not a small amount of people, of asylum seekers, refugees fleeing a genocide. Well, India doesn't see it that way. So so tens of thousands crossed the border into India.
Oh no!
India is now returning them, deporting them back to Myanmar. Because they've decided that these are not refugees, they are illegal immigrants into their country. So that's cute. The Supreme Court of India finally said it would allow their deportation because Myanmar has accepted them as citizens, which is interesting because Myanmar at one point had decided that the Rohingya weren't citizens and had revoked their citizenship.
Right.
So
but they were shamed out of that, weren't they?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Remember correctly?
So an estimated...
I might be wrong. People don't listen to me.
Yeah, don't at me. There apparently about 40,000 Rohingya have taken refuge in parts of India. Less than 15,000 of them are registered with the UN High Commissioner as refugees. So yeah, that's a cute thing. When a religious mass murder happens and the rest of the world's like, nah, just go back. We're not going to take care of you. We're talking about a time in India when they themselves are going through a huge anti-Muslim phase.
Right.
So they don't want to take them. These are your Muslims. You deal with them. We hate them. Yeah, it's pretty nasty out there in Southeast Asia right now.
That makes me really upset.
But at least they hate Muslims just like good old Americans do. So hooray!
Oh yeah, we've got that. With
India. What a good kinship we've formed.
Yeah,
it's great.
We've developed a taste for curry in this country.
Yeah.
So
just not the Muslim
kind. Little chicken tikka masala.
Delicious.
Oh my God. All right, Dan.
Yeah.
You know what month it is, right?
Most of the month is October.
Yeah. It's spooky month.
Spooky month.
Spooky month.
Ooh. Those are my ghosty sounds.
Well, you might want to do witchy sounds instead because, that wonderful makeup store at the mall, Sephora.
Sure.
they announced back in August they were going to start selling entry-level witch kits.
In
October.
Oh dear.
They were called starter witch kits. They have like a little picture here. I'll show it to you. It has they were planning for them to come with a set of tarot cards, some sage for smudging.
Gross.
Right? Some kind of crystal. It was like what was it called? A rose quartz crystal.
Okay.
Right.
Sure.
As along with like some fragrances, a whole collection of fragrances.
Wow.
And different beauty products and whatnot.
I
in this
love
one little
it.
Kit.
I love it.
Beautiful, right? The first sentence of this article, by the way, is amazing, so I have to read it. Right.
Who's the article by?
I found it on Quartz.
Okay.
In some good news for area witches, Sephora will soon emerge as a mainstream purveyor of witchy accoutrement.
Oh my God.
Which is amazing. Anyway, it was set to sell for $42 plus tax.
Okay.
And you know, they actually are not the only retailer or fragrance company or whatever or beauty company, whatever, to do this kind of stuff. Of course, Goop has been making a lot of money off of sort of spirituality products for quite a while.
Sure. Gwyneth Paltrow's egg up your cooch outlet.
That one. Dior had like a tarot collection thing.
Oh my God.
Nordstrom recently collaborated with the wellness company Goldie Rocks, right? To release a limited edition crystal set.
Oh, sure.
A bunch of companies I've never heard of.
Sure.
And anyway, well, apparently the real witch community
Oh yeah,
had something to say about
I
this.
could see this one coming a mile away.
Sephora has announced that they are not going to be selling the starter witch kit.
Wait. They are going to appease the witch crowd?
The witch community raised a real kerfuffle on Twitter. They had a hashtag. They were using the hashtag witch kit, and they were saying, "Don't buy the hashtag witch kit." Anyway,
oh my God.
So
Super trending in the Wiccan Twitter sphere.
yeah, I mean they're upset because they feel like their beliefs were being and their identities being trivialized.
It is,
and so here's what.
Of course, it is.
Chelsea Prickly Biatch or whatever. She says, let's see, witchcraft.
That you're talking about her
on
Twitter handle.
This is on Twitter.
Okay, you're not actually making a comment about her personally.
No.
Which is what it kind of
her
sounded like.
Twitter handle.
Okay.
Witchcraft or paganism, or however you refer to it, is a religion, one with actual practices and guidelines. It is not a basic bitch bandwagon.
Right?
Spirituality is not a toy. Right? She says.
I love it.
Liz, is that really her handle? Being a witch isn't trendy. It isn't cool because Halloween is next month. It doesn't make you quirky or creepy. Being a witch is a choice, and practicing is a form of religious worship. Here's another one, goes by Indigo. Y'all want to act so cool with witch culture until you really meet one, and then you freak the fuck out and tell us we're damned to hell. What gives?
Yeah. I get they're being upset because they're absolutely right.
Yeah.
This is a big corporation taking their religion and being like, that's cute.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
They're practicing, I mean, this is like witch face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, I mean, one wouldn't be how surprised would one be if they just did? I mean, I guess they know better than to sell like the Asian look or whatever.
Right.
But yeah.
But here's the deal. If they're offended at this, why are they not going after like Halloween costume makers?
Well, they do, but
they do.
Nobody cares.
I mean, and little girls walking around as witches
Yeah.
for Christmas.
Nobody cares. I saw the thing. I don't know.
Come on. They should be outraged.
Yeah, they are. It's just that nobody gives a fuck what witches think,
Yeah.
including me, actually.
Oh, rude, Dan.
I don't care.
I guess apparently also some people were upset at Sephora for conflating Native American sacred practices with witchcraft.
The smudging. Yeah.
Right?
I got news for you. The witches totally co-opted that. Here's the thing. Anyone who uses the word spiritual frequently has co-opted everything from everybody.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So,
I guess still not the only people who are outraged. Apparently some diehard fans of Prince got into the mix.
What?
Because on the artwork, on the
box,
on the packaging, I guess it's in this. They actually included Prince's little symbol that he went by for a while.
What? Oh, so they just stomped all over everybody.
So Twitter was just like all angles were coming at Sephora. Just literally, what the fuck are you doing?
There was a meeting in a room at Sephora that was like, should we check with anybody about any of this?
Nah, we got it.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good.
We're totally good.
No, then there was the follow-up meeting of like, how in the fuck did this happen?
Someone went storming into somebody's room.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
Doesn't work there anymore.
Jesus Christ. A tarot deck. Shut up, Sephora. You're an idiot. Sephora, as a company, is an idiot. That's what I'm saying.
It took this.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah. I'm going to bring us right back here to Salt Lake City. Nothing to do with the Mormons.
Really? How is that possible?
Because the Secular Student Alliance, which is a national organization that sets up like groups for kids in high schools and college and whatever. The SSA, it's a great group. They have their first middle school chapter. And let me tell you where it is. Right here in Salt Lake City.
No.
Yes.
No way.
It's chartered by a 12-year-old kid who, there's a picture on Hemant's blog, and she is the cutest thing I have ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah. Bailey Harris, in her open classroom charter school, has set up the first chapter of SSA in a middle school.
No way.
Yeah, apparently.
Where's this school at?
I don't know. Here.
Do you know which district?
Salt Lake, I think.
Is Salt Lake Public Schools?
It's a charter.
Suburban. Right, but charters are still part of a...
I don't know. It says Salt Lake City.
Okay.
So there you go.
Open classroom? Is it the one over in the avenues?
I don't know. I thought that was the
that's an elementary school. Huh. Okay.
Anywho, the Bailey is very excited by the idea of creating a safe community for secular students, according to her dad.
Nice.
And they are, she feels that having an SSA on campus will help secular students feel that they are part of something special.
Nice.
And I love it.
Yeah, that's great. I bet she has great success with this, actually. Those little charter schools can be havens for free thinkers and whatnot. And
sure.
Obviously parents who...
Yeah, as long as they're not
more open-minded.
As long as they're not a Christian charter.
Right, exactly. So the actual public charter ones tend to be pretty...
so there you go.
Huh,
the young people... You, let me tell you something. When you have a dominant, overwhelming culture of repression and whatever, the counterculture comes springing up like flowers.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
I love it.
I actually want to know. I want somebody to figure out what percentage of Salt Lake City is actually atheist.
Well, get on it.
Well, I don't even know how to start that, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know. Dan Jones? Who do we call?
We don't have enough money to
we
commission it.
To hire... Well, maybe the University of Utah, somebody in their sociology department.
I would just love to know, and I'd love to know how it compares. Because, like you say, and it feels like we have all this like anecdotal sense of this fact that the counterculture here, it seems to bubble up quite a bit more.
Yeah,
there seems to be a larger counterculture here than you would expect for a city of this size.
Right.
And I would think that we've also, we know the LDS Church just churns out atheists.
Right. It just dumps. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't dump them into another religion.
Yeah, that's something more on the rare side.
So often it's just you leave that church and you're done with church.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I'd love to know.
There you go. Hey, if you guys have any stats that you think would you want to share with us because they'll fill our needs, or any other reason you want to communicate with us, you can let us know. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message.
Please
The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, maybe get your voice on the show.
That'd be lovely.
Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click the like button.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we will let you in. Also, check out the Reddit, reddit.com/r/TGIAtheist.
Yup.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Frank. What's the story? Morning glory. What's the word? Hummingbird. That's from an old musical.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not what we're doing right now, Dan.
No. Oh,
Just
no.
so you know.
Right. What we're
Everybody,
let me tell you. Okay.
Dan's off script, everyone.
Listeners, just so that you know, I did not want to do. I'm so fucking livid about how this whole Brett Kavanaugh thing went, and how and I'm just angry for my women friends right now, and I'm furious.
Right.
So we wanted to not do a Kavanaugh related clip today.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
There was nothing but Kavanaugh.
You can't. That's all that they were talking about. I went back 3 weeks and I still couldn't find anything that wasn't Kavanaugh related, and I was like dying. So we found the one that's like,
this is sort of, it kind of goes at a tangent that we found palatable,
right? And fucking hilarious. These idiots, man, they get into it. They want to be. This guy wants to be taken seriously.
I know. He's a lunatic.
It's amazing. Who is it?
The one we're talking about, of course, is Rick Wiles.
Rick Wiles, that's right.
We've played him a bit.
Oh yeah,
lately, because
he's a peach.
He's got a really nice brand of sanctimonious judginess.
Yeah,
and a willingness to go along with conspiracy theories.
Oh my God.
And so here's some fun shit right here.
Yeah.
Why are we bringing up Lodestar? Because last week I floated the idea that these accusers against Brett Kavanaugh are MK Ultra mind-controlled subjects who have volunteered to have thoughts implanted in their minds, and which would make them truly believe that those things happened to them, so that they couldn't be challenged. Even if they took a polygraph test, they would say, yes, I believe this happened to me. And I threw that idea out there, that these people are mind-control people. And then Edward came up with he connected Lodestar, because with mind control, you have to have a trigger mechanism. It's a word, a phrase that triggers the hypnotic state.
Yes.
So that whatever was planted in the mind of a person through hypnosis is triggered when they hear a trigger word. And so Edward said, maybe Lodestar is what triggered Dr. Ford and these other women to come forward with these wild, crazy accusations. And so what happened today? Charles Schumer sticks the word Lodestar into a speech on the floor of the Senate. So if we're right, then in the next day or two, there's going to be a new flurry of accusations. There's going to be something bizarre coming. It's going to trigger.
Bizarre.
It's really bizarre. Something bizarre is going to happen.
Well, that's a pretty safe assertion in this day and age.
That something bizarre is going to happen?
Yeah, I bet it comes true.
I just love how they kept repeating the trigger word.
I know.
Stop repeating it.
Yeah, you got people all around the country now, just like, I must lie about Brett Kavanaugh. me. Like, what the fuck?
And now we've played it. Lodestar.
See how it spreads?
See?
Oh, that's insidious.
It's definitely not how hypnosis works. And that whole MK Ultra, that if you're not familiar with MK Ultra, it was an actual program that the CIA was running back in the 50s and 60s to try and figure out mind control.
Oh.
They actually did do some experiments about it.
No way.
And they were not ethical about it, and they did experiments on like unsuspecting citizens and stuff.
Oh, God.
But yeah,
That's how you build a good reputation.
You know what they learned?
For your organization?
You can't do it. They learned that is not a thing.
Right.
Or did they?
I think there's a cover story because,
right.
Let's face it, because we know the Soviets had that technology.
Yeah,
right. Clearly,
obviously,
they had
obviously,
it. I've seen me some 1980s movies.
Yeah, they got.
I know how it all works.
The sleeper agents.
Yeah.
that go when you say Lodestar.
Yeah,
and then if somebody accidentally just says that while they're in their presence, boy, watch out! Somebody's going to get assassinated.
Yeah,
at the wrong time.
Oh my God!
Got to pick your word easily.
Yeah,
or carefully.
Lodestar is pretty.
It's pretty
you don't
rare.
hear that very often.
Pretty rare.
So
Lodestar.
What is loads? What is that? What is that word?
I don't know. Is it used interchangeably with touchstone?
I'm going to look it up. You continue.
Here's what's funny is that there's while that we were playing that clip, I was looking at my computer screen and an ad for Noodles and Company. I guess they're calling themselves Noodles World Kitchen now. Came up and it said, the ad says, we hypnotized the carbs out of our noodles.
I don't want those noodles.
That is also not how hypnosis works.
What was your guess as to what Lodestar meant?
Like to be used interchangeably with like touchstone, like a.
No.
I don't know.
Although you're not a star that is used to guide the course of a ship.
Right.
Especially Polaris.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is that when it's used in this sense, it's used as like, what is my guiding star? What is my,
I hear you.
Yeah, sort of thing.
You were really close. You were still wrong, but you were really close.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're not, this is not an English language podcast. Here we go. We had some folks write into us. I'm just going to move.
One would think it is, though, Dan.
Well,
from time to time,
with how much time we stop and spend on you looking up a word or whatever, or on either
how
of us.
How dare you? That's the first time I've ever done that.
Okay, that's true. But you did just do it. Anywho, we're an educational podcast sometimes, mostly educating ourselves while the listeners listen.
While benefiting everyone else.
While you guys listen to us. Screaming at us to please move on. You'll recall that recently we had someone call or write into us talking about taking us to task for saying that pedophilia might be caused by the pedophilia in the Catholic Church specifically could be caused by the celibacy requirement, and saying that's. We don't have any evidence for that. Why would we? So we probably shouldn't make that claim, and that there are lots of other things.
Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit. Tasha wrote in to say, Frank and Dan, hello. First off, I enjoy the podcast and thank you for continuing to create it. I also wanted to say that I appreciated your response to your caller on episode 356. I have taken classes and read about criminal psychology for many years, though as an interested person and not a professional. One thing that is repeated is that understanding the cause behind this behavior is not to give excuses for it, and that's something that you and I talked about.
Exactly.
Yeah. However, we can't combat it if we don't know the cause. It's a common assumption that people who look for the cause are doing so to take fault from the perpetrator, but it's not true. I don't know if it's ever been studied, but if we can determine that celibacy is a cause, then we should spread the information and pedophiles who don't want to offend will know more about themselves and have more tools to keep themselves from hurting others. We can understand the causes, whatever they are, and still hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And I think that was sort of what we came to.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that you two are willing to say when you don't know something, which is often. We need more people like that in the media. Thanks for the podcast. Well, thanks, Tasha, for writing in.
Yeah.
Elise wrote in also, "Hi, Frank and Dan. Just a quick note to let you know that your discussion of Mormonisms are my favorite part of the podcast."
Woo!
Well, thank God, because there's more of it coming.
Brace yourself.
So interesting, often funny, and you know the subject from the inside out, which is ideal. Yes, that's just. I made sure to read that one to justify us delving yet again deeper into the quagmire.
I don't know.
Should we call it a quag Mormon?
Sure.
That's what I'm going to do. You can't stop me.
All right. Call it that, Dan.
So thanks, Elise. Patrick also wrote into us. Hey, hi, Frank and Dan. On your last show, you asked to be called out on hypocrisy.
Oh, boy.
We should not do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So here's a little contentious point. You quite rightly had a pop at ultra-Orthodox Jews for their misogyny, but then condemned the Danish government for not respecting Islamic cultural gender segregation. You could justifiably criticize the fascist reasoning behind the Danes' policy, but it doesn't follow that you therefore respect bullshit. That's what it sounded like to me. I could have misunderstood. And then he says that we're his favorite atheist show. So,
oh, that's nice.
That's nice. Thanks, Patrick. It's an interesting line. The line that I draw on that is I will gladly criticize Islam for being misogynistic, which it absolutely 100% is.
Absolutely.
But I will also criticize a government for not allowing people to practice their religion as they see fit.
Right.
And those are two separate things in my mind.
Yeah.
I think the misogyny is terrible, but also as long as adults are practicing and not doing like severe harm to themselves, to others, I kind of got to say, like, if you're choosing your own misogyny, I have to let you choose it.
Yeah, I kind of just operate on the whole, like, it's better to have these people who belong to religious group, it's better to have Muslims be welcomed and able to participate.
Sure.
In
enfranchised within society.
Exactly. So that hopefully... I'm sort of always thinking about the long game in my mind on this kind of stuff, that hopefully in a generation, I mean, it's a gamble to go this way.
Right.
But hopefully in a generation, they're a little bit better on some of these issues.
Yeah.
And then and with time and with education being part of the national dialogue, hopefully there can be some change rather than just pushing them into a corner where they're just going to continue to fester and be nasty and awful.
Right. And I would rather live in a culture that is tolerant of all religions, but that progresses as a culture.
Right.
Because that's what we see. I mean, history shows religion follows the culture.
Right.
It goes where the culture is going.
Yeah.
And as the culture progresses and is smarter about how they treat their citizens and whatever, eventually the religion follows behind.
One hopes, yeah.
Or dies, or withers on the vine.
Right.
And so I would rather live in a culture that says, yes, practice your religion as you see fit. Mm-hmm. Do what you need to do. I mean,
we will call you out for your shit.
Right. There are certain restrictions. You can't, you can't kill a woman because she dishonored your family.
And you can't, female genital mutilation is out. There are certain practices that we won't allow. There are certain things that we won't allow, but practice your religion. Also, like, it's these kinds of things where it's like, you can't practice your religion that creates extremists. Yeah, exactly.
There are no extremists in a world where where everybody's just sort of allowed to practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you know what?
What?
I want everybody's yummy, yummy food. So I want people moving from all over the world.
Yeah.
Into our country, so that hopefully some of them land here, and I can eat their yummy, yummy food.
I agree.
It tastes different from what I'm used to.
Well, and
it's new and exciting.
And there are good, there are good parts of all of these different cultures that we can assimilate into our Borg collective, and that's great. So don't throw babies out with bathwater, but also, I mean, the way to encourage the kind of societal behavior that you want is to show how great it is, is to show it working, and to show and to have it as a shining alternative to whatever other people are doing.
Yeah.
Not to mandate it and show it as the as an enemy. You make yourself their enemy rather than saying, "Look at how great this is."
Yeah,
which I think is better.
I hope so. I
But then
don't
again,
have a lot of hope anymore.
Well, no, but
Right.
but I mean, at very
everything's
least,
just going to work itself out.
at very least, that's where I draw the line. I'm happy to criticize misogyny in Islam, but I'm also happy to criticize restrictive laws and cultures.
On your hierarchy of where you're going to step in.
Well, I think it's both wrong.
Yeah.
Even though one move is trying to solve another problem that I also criticize, I don't think that's the move.
Right, okay.
I don't know. But what the fuck do we know? You're absolutely right about that. Do we have anybody to thank?
We do, Dan.
Oh, hurrah.
We have 2 new patrons on Patreon. These are folks who went to thankgodimatheist.com and clicked on the support tab.
Yes.
And followed it all the way over to Patreon. We've been running a campaign over there for quite a while. The numbers keep going up, but if you'd like to help them go up even more, we welcome your support. It helps obviously pay for the show. It makes our time here worthwhile.
Yeah,
and
it shows that you like us, and we could use that.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's your way of showing
is good.
appreciation for the hard work that we put into this show. God damn it.
And here's a couple of people who did just that.
Okay.
We have one new faithful listener.
Yeah.
Travis. Thank you, Travis.
Bravo.
And we have one new venerable listener, John. And
extra
guess
bravo
what?
to
Guess
you.
what, folks?
What?
John, at the venerable level, has gained access to the Frank and Dan diaries.
Oh, that's true.
Weekly, most weeks weekly, little supplemental fun time. You and me talking for about 10 to 15 minutes about whatever's on our mind.
Yeah, it's but I think we keeps it fun.
Yeah. In fact, we're going to play a little clip right here so you get a taste of it.
Ooh, how exciting for everybody.
Dan.
Yo.
Let's talk about something that we're going to just avoid on the show.
Okay.
This week.
Which is prostate cancer. I have no idea what you're going for.
Well, no. I mean, at a certain age, Dan, it's important. You better get in there.
Well, we're getting past the age where... No, we're getting past the age when testicular cancer is a big scare. And now we're on to prostate cancer.
Yeah. Well... Thanks to my dad's contribution to my family's medical history, I have to get screened very young
for all the things.
Yeah.
You're just a vector for cancer.
That man grows cancer. It's like what he decided to do in his old age as a hobby, right? It's just
some guys do model airplanes, some guys fish.
Yeah.
He's
just decided to...
He likes to work on them tumors.
Test out all the different cancers.
Where else could I grow a tumor? I feel like I haven't done anything with my legs at this point. Let's see what we can do with some...
He's had prostate cancer.
Uh-huh.
He's had melanoma.
Right, sure.
Like proper, scary shit on his face.
Yeah.
He has to go in for the screening I don't even know how many times a year.
Right.
The big scary one was the lung cancer.
Sure.
But it had spread.
Non-smoker.
It was in his spine. And yet somehow, by the grace of God, I suppose, he keeps beating everything.
Yeah.
Stage 4 lung cancer.
Oh, I didn't realize it was stage 4.
Yeah. Stage 4 is it's metastasized, right?
Yeah. It's like that's the last stage.
Yeah.
Stage 5 is dead.
Yeah.
Stage 5 lung cancer means you're dead.
Well, his stage 5 is...
it's fuck you cancer.
It was fuck you cancer. Thanks to, some super drug that has been developed that basically, just wipes out his lung cancer. That's a very specific kind of lung cancer.
My big hope...
Unbelievable.
is that the all of the big cures, the easy ones, the ones that don't involve any nastiness, will happen before I get the things.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to figure out the Alzheimer's. They're going to figure out the cancer.
Yeah. Parkinson's? You got the marker for Parkinson's?
I don't know. I've never
seen
seen...
your 23andMe, Dan.
I don't want to. I'll tell you why. It's not the health thing. I just don't want them to send me back a thing that tells me how white I am. I already know. I would just be hopeful that there was... I want there to be anything in me that's remotely, like, cool or exotic or whatever, not just like... There's not.
I promise just you, there's not.
100% Euro mutt.
Mine was just amazing. Amazing in how specific it was.
It was just like white from here and white from there and white from there. You got your German white, you got your Scandinavian white, and you got your English white.
I didn't have really Scandinavian white.
Oh, really?
No.
I've definitely got some, like, I've got some Danish.
Yeah, okay. No, we are smack dab right in the middle of Northern Europe. Just pin right there. And I mean, like, it was like 97% of that.
Yeah.
And then the remaining 3%, there was like a really scandalous Eastern European, like less than 0.5%,
right?
You know, and going
some
down
Romanian
from
made
there,
it in there or something.
Going down from there, there was like some like what is it, Iberian Peninsula, and there was some a little 0.3 south of France. You know, I mean, really diverse background.
Yeah, super. Yeah, literally, mine would just come back with the word white. It wouldn't even bother with all the rest.
Wasn't that fun?
There you go. You too could have access to just hours now.
True.
Well, of content.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
That is not available to the public.
Yeah.
By going to thankgodimatheist.com and clicking on the support tab to get over to Patreon.
Yeah.
Sign up and voila.
And that is our big thank you to you.
Yeah.
And as always, we have our Lord and Savior Emeritus, who needs to be thanked for her continued support. Angela, thank you very much. And
blessed be she.
And our reigning Lord and Savior, Queen of it all, Jenny!
Even blesseder be she! She is the most blessed of all of our listeners, and we honor her and thank her so much. And thanks to all of our patrons.
Yes.
In the name of no deity. Amen.
Amen. Hey, Dan.
Yes, sir.
The Mormons.
There they are. Oh, my God. It is like a convention of... You got your Rusty Nelson, who looks like the old man puppet from that terrible comedian that does the...
Oh, yeah. No, he does.
He looks exactly like that guy.
Uh-huh.
And then you've got Dallin Oaks, who looks like the Crypt Keeper's grandpa. It's not a cute look.
Yeah.
The old white guy thing is getting a little on the old on the lame side these days.
Yeah. But Mormons now don't have to go to church for 3 hours.
Yeah, so we made some predictions.
Yeah.
Or rather we discussed some predictions that other people have been making.
Other people's predictions.
And yeah, it turns out that all of that 1 hour of every week of our lives was in vain.
Yeah, not necessary.
God damn it!
They're doing every other week. They're doing shit.
I want those hours back, Mormons. And I also, I could use that money that I gave you too.
Money would be good.
Yeah. So they did do that.
Yeah.
They're now. I mean, and what's funny is that when I first heard that they were doing that they were dropping the 3 hour block and going just to 2 hours, I was like, that is interesting. Why are they doing that? And then, of course, it occurred to me, because Nobody wants to go to fucking church there anymore.
Right.
It's 3 goddamn hours. They know they're hemorrhaging people.
They're trying to do anything to keep people.
They're trying to make it seem a little less onerous to be a Mormon. Already they want you to give up drinking and smoking.
Yeah.
They want you to give up all these different things. It's just too onerous. It's just too much.
And there's a lot of little conspiracy theory type things that float around on the ex-Mormon subreddit. But one of the ideas is that they are looking that they need the wards to be able to function with fewer members, so that they don't have to keep closing wards.
Right.
So that they don't have the statistical, that's drop in wards and stakes and whatnot that's obvious to the membership.
Right.
Sure. But they are hemorrhaging the 3 wards a month.
Yeah.
Just through resignations.
Yeah.
So, and a large number of those have got to be obviously right here in the heartland.
Sure.
So,
sure.
The homeland of the
church. Other interesting developments. I love that Rusty Nelson actually told at this moment in our country's history, at this moment, following the same fucking weekend that Brett Kavanaugh accused and very likely sexual assault committed
some sort of sexual assault.
Brett Kavanaugh gets pushed onto the Supreme Court of these United States. In that moment, he chooses to tell women, just women of the church.
Oh, in the women's meeting.
No.
Oh
yeah, no, yeah, sorry. During the General Women's Conference, yes.
Okay, yeah.
He chooses to tell them to take a 10-day fast from social media.
Oh, God.
He decides to silence the entirety of Mormon womandom for 10 days. Just shut the hell up. I'm sick of hearing about it. That's not how he phrased it.
Yeah.
That's a paraphrase. Sure.
Well, stop posting and stop looking at.
And stop listening.
Yeah.
Stop looking and stop listening. You're actually listening to the voices that make sense, that don't support white male dominance.
Yeah, this is their new thing. They keep calling for these social media fasts. I think they're dabbling with cutting them off of social media.
Well,
as a commandment.
They're dabbling with cutting them off of information.
Yeah.
Because then we get to Dallin Oaks, who's in the first presidency. He's not the prophet. He's second in command.
Yeah.
He's the vice prophet, if you will. who then dives into a whole thing about don't listen to, and I listened. I suffered through his whole talk, taking notes.
Oh God.
But he dives into a whole thing. I mean, we'll get to other shit that he said because the man is a hateful bastard.
Yeah.
But one of the things that he was saying was, don't listen to these other sources. Don't listen to secular sources. Science doesn't have the answers. And don't listen to, quote, anonymous sources, which he hit a couple times, which means he's talking about Mormon leaks.
Also, the Tribune is guessing that he's talking about the ex-Mormon subreddit.
Okay.
Because they're talking about the 94,000 members of that subreddit.
Right.
And how fucking terrified they are about that.
Yeah.
Because there's also, a lot of those members are also kind of fence-sitting Mormons.
Indeed.
Right.
And what's amazing, so what the Mormon Church has done very effectively since we were kids is label anything that might expose some of their bullshit as, quote, anti-Mormon propaganda.
Right, but they can't say that anymore.
Because
they can't use the word Mormon. They can't.
That's amazing. Anti-Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints propaganda.
Anti-us.
Anti-us. Oh, my God. I love that.
They didn't think that one through.
Anti-Mormon, yeah.
There's no anti-Mormon anymore.
That is a nice, succinct way of putting what they want to talk about, but they can't say it. I love it. I love it. But I did want to move on to fucking Dallin Oaks's bullshit talk.
Oh, the LGBT stuff.
You know what? I'm not LGBT.
You aren't?
I am a
Dan, I've known you for years. I didn't know
straight
that about
white
you.
man. It's an easy mistake to make. I don't mind when somebody does mistake me for gay, which has happened many times in my life.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say that I was a little triggered by this goddamn thing because he hit it so fucking hard.
Yeah.
He what he did basically, he just hit the whole. He kept returning to marriage and to gender identity. I mean, he talked about genders being eternal, and they were decided in the pre-existence. And you were whatever gender you are. And of course, what he means is whatever's dangling or not between your legs is your gender.
He's confusing your biology for your gender.
You would think that they'd want to. I mean, tell that to the one in every 1,500 people who are in some way intersex.
Yeah.
Like, how do you? What if you've got a both?
Right.
Then
well,
what?
he really should just try to understand sort of the whole trans situation a little bit more, because he is kind of making their point for them.
Right.
Right. That if a trans woman, growing up felt like, being a boy was wrong.
Right.
Right. And knew that was wrong.
Right. You
Her
assign
gender was always female.
Right.
Right.
Right. She could very easily say, "Of course, I was female in the pre-existence.
Yeah. My body just formed wrong.
My body there was just a problem with my body in the womb or whatever." And
No, it's about the penis.
Nope. Well, you have a penis, so you're getting it wrong.
God never screws up with that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's so. And they purposefully are overly simplistic about the whole concept.
Yeah,
of course they are.
Of course.
Because
and
they
completely have never spent any time trying to understand.
No, they don't want to listen or understand this thing. They already understand it. They know how it works. There's boys and there's girls. There's men and then there's women.
Right.
And the men are better than the women, and that's final. And we're in charge, and you're not. So, God damn it, pay attention. And they hit it so many times, so hard. And he made it clear. He said maleness and femaleness and straight marriage and having children. These are the three pillars that his talk rested on. Those are all part of God's plan. And opposition to that, any opposing viewpoint, is from Satan his damn self.
Yeah. Oh, God.
He was so... And if you find yourself faltering with your impression, with the church's mandate about what gayness is and what transness is, if you find yourself being sympathetic to your gay niece or nephew, repent. He has called you to repentance.
I need to call my parents.
It's so wrong that I did a thing because I'm a tolerant person. Like, a lot of my atheist friends consider me too tolerant because I have a very live and let live sort of.
I often think that about you, Dan.
Yeah, you definitely do. Sort of approach. But I actually went onto my personal Facebook page where I am loath to. I don't post about atheist or religious stuff on my personal Facebook page because it's every now and then somebody will do something hateful and I'll just denounce the hate.
Right.
But this time I was like, look, he's made it clear. You can either be a Mormon in good standing and sustain the leaders of your church.
Right.
Or you can honor your LGBT friends and people that are LGBT. There is no both. You can't. It is that there's no line to walk there. They've made it very clear. You can do one or the other. You can't do both.
I need to call my parents because they've been coming around really well.
Yeah.
And that's...
Well, what are you going to say to them?
I'm just going to say I want to talk to you about what Dallin H. Oaks had to say.
You're going to make them choose?
I'm just going to say I need to know where you guys are at.
God, that's going to be rough. But yeah, I mean, I get it. Because he was unequivocal.
Right.
It's Satan or, it's their way or the fucking highway to hell.
They've done too much work on this.
Yeah.
For it to just go snapping back.
It's just, it's unacceptable. I mean, well, what they're doing is they are planting their boots on the ground, and they are staking their claim. Mm-hmm. And frankly, they're going to cause a schism. We've been predicting it for a long time.
They're going to cause a schism, or they're just going to continue to bleed.
Or they're just going to hemorrhage people. Yeah. They're just going to lose.
They're going to end up being this small. I mean, they're already small. In the grand scheme of things, they're already small. But even in Utah, they're going to end up being just this small thing.
Just perpetually shrinking.
That's hateful and vile, just like the rest of the Brighamite tribes have all, offshoots rather than tribes. But, all of everything that's come through Brigham Young has just been rough and ugly.
It is a problem of their setup, because their entire setup means that they will only ever have old men running their church.
Yeah.
And they don't get it.
Right.
They don't. And here's the thing. They know that they're going to be opposed.
Yeah.
And Oakes mentions it. He says, we're going to see this stance will meet with opposition in the world, and that opposition is satanic.
Yeah.
It is from Satan. And that's part of the plan, and we're ready for it, and we must fight valiantly. And he couldn't have been more clearly drawn a line in the sand. So if you're a Mormon, if you claim that church, if that is where you're at, and you decide you sustain the leadership of that church, guess what? You have sent a loud and clear message to the LGBT community.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it. That's all you've done. And the high suicide rate among youth in Utah, there's blood on your hands at this point. Frank has descended into a reverie. He has stopped talking. You know that this is an audio medium, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just a lot of it's settling in a little bit more. Like, I heard it, I read it, whatever. But as we've been talking about it, it's settled in a little bit more, and I'm a little bothered.
It's hurtful.
I'm not hurt. I'm worried.
Yeah.
I'm really in a place of I'm a little worried about my parents at the moment.
Yeah.
I really am. Not so much maybe my sister, although I should probably check in with her.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, right now I need to get on the phone, and we bought tickets, Dave and I did, to go to Christmas.
Wow.
Both of us.
Yeah.
And I need to call and,
have a talk.
We just did it, and so I need to call and talk to my mom and just be like, hey, we're coming home for Christmas.
And your church leaders just told you to hate us.
Yeah. And
so
I need to know that we're okay.
Yeah, it's rough.
Like, yeah. So.
Well, Dallin Oaks solemnly testified that these things that he said are true.
Well, I'm sure in his little
demented little mind,
that nasty little nest of a little rancid piece of shit in his head. Yeah, it probably is true to him.
Yep. And I would like to solemnly testify that he is a fucking turd. And he can go fuck himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anally. In the gay way. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Do it, Dallin.
Fucking jerk.
Yeah, he's a bad one. He's a baddie. We knew he was a baddie for a long time.
Yeah.
I always thought it was going to be KKK, who...
Oh, yes. The recently deceased Boyd K. Packer, who was also extremely hateful.
I thought he was going to be the one who, like, really got things stirred up. He never really got around to it.
No.
In his 90-some-odd years, he...
Yeah. Nope. And by the way, in case you...
Not at that level.
Don't realize how it works, when the 90-year-old president of the church, Russell Nelson, 90-something, I don't know how old he is.
94. I think.
When he kicks the bucket, Oakes is next in line. So that's who's coming down the pike. Yeah, 94. All right, kids. Well, we're very upset here. Sorry about that.
Yep.
But we will come back to you next week. Hey, if you have anything you'd like to write in and talk to us about, feel free to do so. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click that like button.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of Facebook, thanks so much to Mackenzie for all of her hard work on the Facebook page, and thanks to Sarah, Danny, and Amy for their moderation of the Members Only Lounge.
And the big thanks goes out to the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston for the use of their music.
And thank you all for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.